Commander Dax of the Galactic Federation surveyed the data once more, his crystalline eyes reflecting the holographic display. The numbers couldn't be right. Humans, primitive, emotional, fragile humans, were somehow generating energy readings that defied every known natural law. "Run the calculations again," he ordered his science officer, Lauren, a tall blue-skinned being with 6 fingers on each hand. "There must be an error in our sensors." Lauren sighed. "I've run them 16 times, Commander. The readings are consistent. Somehow, these humans are producing energy signatures that our instruments can barely register." The Federation had encountered thousands of species across the known universe. Some were physically stronger, some intellectually superior. Others possessed advanced technological capabilities. But humans, they were unremarkable by most standards. Short-lived, technologically primitive, confined to a single star system. Yet here was evidence suggesting they harbored some unknown power. "What exactly are we looking at?" asked Mira, the ship's tactical officer. Her reptilian features remained impassive, but her tail twitched with agitation. "That's just it," replied Lauren. "We don't know. It's not technological. It's not radiation. It's not any form of energy we've cataloged before. It appears to be biological." Commander Dax made his decision. "Prepare a reconnaissance team. Minimal interaction protocols. I want answers, not an incident." 24 hours later, the team was ready. Jack, their human specialist, looked uncomfortable in his Federation uniform. As the only human serving on a Federation vessel, he often found himself explaining his species' peculiarities to his crewmates. "Remember," Jack warned, "Earth governments don't acknowledge extraterrestrial contact. We'll need to be discreet." The team landed outside a small town in what humans called Colorado. Their ship, cloaked from human detection systems, settled in a clearing surrounded by tall green vegetation. They deployed their scanners immediately. The readings were even stronger here. "It's coming from everywhere," Lauren said, bewildered. "Every human within range is emitting these energy signatures, but they're strongest from that building." The building in question was something humans called a high school. Young humans emerged from it, laughing, shouting, their bodies seemingly ordinary. "I don't understand," said Mira. "They look so normal." Jack studied the scanner readings, his brow furrowed. "Wait. The energy signatures spike when they experience strong emotions. Look at those two." He pointed to a young couple embracing. Their energy output just doubled. Commander Dax watched silently. The Federation had long wondered why Earth remained largely untouched by the catastrophes that regularly befell developing planets. Asteroids mysteriously changed course. Solar flares dampened before reaching their atmosphere. Even their climatic systems seemed to self-correct despite their species' best efforts to destroy them. "We need a test subject," Dax finally announced. "Someone isolated. Someone who won't be missed for a short period." The team exchanged uncomfortable glances. Federation protocols strictly prohibited abductions, but they needed answers. The fate of countless worlds might depend on understanding this anomaly. There, Jack pointed to a solitary figure walking along a forest path. "That's our chance." As the sun set over the Colorado mountains, the figure, a middle-aged human male, approached their position. Completely unaware that he was about to become the center of a discovery that would shake the foundations of the Galactic Federation's understanding of the universe, and of the shocking truth behind human power. Miller had always been ordinary. Average height, average looks, average job as a high school physics teacher. Nothing in his 45 years suggested he was special in any way, which is precisely why the aliens selected him. The abduction was textbook. A flash of light, momentary disorientation, and suddenly Tom found himself in a sterile white room that defied human architecture. His first reaction wasn't fear, oddly enough, but a surge of curiosity that made the instruments monitoring him spike wildly. "Fascinating," Lauren murmured, observing from the adjacent laboratory. His energy output increased 300% upon awakening, yet his vital signs indicate curiosity, not fear. Commander Dax studied the human through the one-way observation panel. Begin the tests. Keep them non-invasive for now. Inside the examination room, Tom was experiencing the strangest day of his life. He'd always believed in extraterrestrial life. The universe was too vast for Earth to be the only inhabited planet, but belief and confirmation were worlds apart. Yet, instead of panicking, he found himself cataloging details with his scientist's mind. The room's impossible angles, the subtle humming beneath his feet, the air that smelled too perfect. "Hello," he called out. "I'm guessing someone's listening. I'm Tom. And you are." The aliens exchanged glances. This wasn't the typical response to abduction. "I am Commander Dax of the Galactic Federation." Dax's voice emanated from everywhere and nowhere. "You are temporarily in our custody for research purposes. You will not be harmed." Tom nodded, surprisingly calm. "Research on what exactly?" Again, the instruments monitoring him spiked. "On you, Tom Miller. On humans." Over the next several hours, Tom underwent a battery of tests. They scanned him, measured him, had him perform simple tasks while monitoring his energy output. They showed him images, some beautiful, some horrifying, and recorded his responses. They played music that made him weep and sounds that made him cover his ears in pain. Through it all, the pattern became undeniable. Human emotions generated energy. Not metaphorical energy, but actual, measurable power that could be detected and theoretically harnessed. "It's strongest when they feel deeply," Jack explained to his crewmates. "Love, fear, joy, grief. The stronger the emotion, the greater the output." Mira looked skeptical. "Are you suggesting humans are some kind of organic batteries?" "Not batteries," Lauren interrupted, excitement breaking through her usual reserve. "Generators. They create energy from nothing, defying our understanding of conservation laws. And they don't even know they're doing it." Commander Dax remained silent, contemplating the implications. The Federation had long sought sustainable energy sources to replace the dwindling cosmic fuel that powered their civilization. If humans could generate energy through mere emotion, "We need to understand the mechanism," he finally said. "How are they doing this? And can it be replicated?" Meanwhile, Tom was growing restless. The novelty of alien abduction was wearing off, replaced by thoughts of his students, his dog waiting at home, the stack of ungraded papers on his desk. "I'd like to go home now," he announced to the empty room. "I've cooperated with your tests. I've answered your questions. It's time for me to leave." The energy readings from his body suddenly intensified, becoming so strong that several monitoring instruments overloaded. "What's happening?" Dax demanded. Lauren's eyes widened. "It's determination. Resolve." His desire to return home is creating a feedback loop, amplifying his energy output exponentially. For the first time, Commander Dax felt a flutter of unease. They'd assumed the human energy was ambient, passive. What if it could be directed? What if humans could learn to control it? What if they already had? The ship's emergency alarms blared as Tom's energy readings continued to climb. The ordinary physics teacher had become an extraordinary phenomenon, his emotional state creating ripples in the very fabric of the ship's containment fields. "Shut down the tests," Commander Dax ordered. "Sedate him if necessary." Jack stepped forward, alarmed. "Commander, sedation might be perceived as a threat. It could escalate the situation." "Then what do you suggest?" Dax snapped, watching as the ship's systems began to flicker under the strain of Tom's unintentional energy discharge. "Let me talk to him," Jack said. "Human to human." Reluctantly, Dax nodded. Inside the examination room, Tom was experiencing something inexplicable. The more frustrated he became, the more the air around him seemed to shimmer, as if reality itself was responding to his emotions. Objects vibrated slightly. The temperature fluctuated. And deep inside, He felt a strange sensation, like he was simultaneously emptying and filling, draining and charging. The door slid open, and a man entered, human, unlike the other aliens Tom had glimpsed through the observation window. "I'm Jack," the newcomer said simply. "And you're causing quite a stir, Tom." Tom's eyes narrowed. "You work with them, against your own kind." "With them, not against anyone," Jack corrected. "The Federation studies civilizations. They don't conquer or destroy." "Then why am I here?" Tom demanded. The shimmering around him intensified. Jack gestured to the phenomenon. "That's why. What you're doing right now, it's impossible according to every physics model the Federation has. Humans generate energy from emotion. Pure energy created from nothing but feeling." Tom looked down at his hands, finally noticing the subtle glow emanating from his skin. "That's not possible. And yet, here we are," Jack said gently. "The Federation detected these energy signatures from orbit. Every human produces them, but some, like you, produce more than others. We don't understand how or why." Tom's scientific mind raced. Is this why I always felt better after emotional conversations with my students? Why crowds at concerts seem to feed off each other's energy? Why certain people make you feel more alive just by being near them? Jack nodded. "We think so. Humans have always described emotions as energizing or draining. Turns out, that's literally true." The shimmering around Tom began to subside as curiosity replaced his anger. The ship's systems stabilized. Commander Dax watched this transformation with growing interest. "The energy responds to his emotional state," he murmured. "It's not just generated by emotions, it's controlled by them." Lauren was frantically recording data. "This changes everything we thought we knew about energy creation. If emotions can generate power, then the most emotional species in the galaxy is sitting on an unlimited energy source," Mira finished grimly. "And they don't even know it." Back in the examination room, Tom had calmed completely, his scientific fascination overriding his earlier distress. "Can all humans do this?" he asked Jack. "To varying degrees," Jack replied. "Strong emotions create stronger energy fields. But you're unusually powerful, even for a human." Tom laughed bitterly. "Me? Powerful? I'm a high school physics teacher who lives alone except for an overweight golden retriever." "Yet you care deeply," Jack observed, "about your students, about knowledge, about understanding the universe. Passion, Tom, that's what feeds this energy. And you have it in abundance." The revelation struck Tom like a physical blow. All his life, he'd been told that his emotional nature was a weakness. Too sensitive, too invested in his students' success, too moved by beauty, and too disturbed by injustice. Now, apparently, those very qualities made him extraordinary. 3 months after his missing time experience, which Tom remembered only as strange dreams and a persistent sense of awakening, the physics teacher found himself staying late at Westridge High School. A storm had knocked out power to half the town, and he was gathering emergency supplies from the science department for the community shelter. As he worked in the dim emergency lighting, Tom couldn't shake the strange sensation he'd been experiencing lately, a heightened awareness, a tingling beneath his skin when his emotions ran high, an inexplicable ability to sense others' feelings, almost like an electrical current passing between them. The school's backup generator sputtered and died, plunging the hallway into darkness. "Great," Tom muttered, fumbling for his phone's flashlight. Frustration welled up inside him, not just at the darkness, but at the storm's destruction, the displaced families, the feeling of helplessness. As his emotional intensity grew, something extraordinary happened. A soft blue glow emanated from his hands, providing enough light to see by. Tom stared, transfixed. This wasn't his phone. This was him. Meanwhile, in orbit above Earth, the Federation observation vessel detected the energy spike immediately. "It's him," Lauren confirmed, analyzing the reading. The teacher, His output just jumped exponentially. Commander Dax leaned forward. Is he accessing the energy consciously? Impossible to tell without direct observation, Jack replied. But the pattern suggests a response to immediate need rather than random discharge. On the planet's surface, Tom was experimenting. When he calmed himself, the glow faded. When he focused on his concern for his community, it strengthened. It wasn't just light. The air around him warmed slightly, and the dead flashlight in his pocket suddenly had power again when he touched it. This isn't possible, he whispered, his scientist's mind grappling with the impossible evidence before him. But it was happening, and somehow, deep in his subconscious, he knew this wasn't the first time. Tom made it to the community shelter with the supplies, his mind racing. Throughout the evening, he tested his newfound ability discreetly. He could charge dead cell phones with a touch when focusing on his desire to help. He could warm cold food without heat when thinking about nourishment and care. By morning, he'd made a decision. This ability, whatever it was, needed to be understood. And he needed help. His colleague, Dr. Anna Wright, was the most brilliant research scientist he knew. She'd left a promising career with DARBA to teach high school biology after losing her husband. If anyone would believe him and help him investigate without immediately alerting authorities, it would be Anna. You're telling me you can generate energy with your emotions? Anna asked skeptically when Tom demonstrated his ability in her classroom after hours. The small ball of bluish light hovering above his palm cast shadows across her incredulous face. I know how it sounds, Tom acknowledged, but you're seeing it with your own eyes. Anna circled him, scientific curiosity overcoming disbelief. This defies everything we know about physics. Energy can't be created from nothing. Apparently it can, Tom replied. And I don't think I'm the only one who can do it. I think all humans can, to varying degrees. In orbit, the observation team tracked the developing situation with growing concern. Now there are 2 energy signatures in proximity, Mira reported. The second human is beginning to exhibit similar patterns. Commander Dax frowned. It's spreading? Through what mechanism? Lauren studied the readings. It's not spreading like a contagion. It's more like awakening. As if the second human always had this ability, but is only now becoming conscious of it. Jack looked troubled. This is accelerating faster than we anticipated. If humans begin manifesting this ability en masse, the question becomes whether they will use it for creation or destruction. Dax finished grimly. Back in Anna's classroom, the biology teacher had progressed from skepticism to cautious experimentation. Under Tom's guidance, she had produced her own small energy field, weaker than his, but undeniably present. It responds to emotional intensity, she observed, watching the energy flicker as she modulated her feelings. But why are we only discovering this now? Humans have had emotions since the beginning of our species. Tom had been pondering the same question. Maybe we've always been doing this unconsciously. Maybe this is what people have called chai, or prana, or the force. Maybe every supernatural or paranormal event in human history was just people accidentally accessing this ability. The Harvester ship lurked at the edge of the solar system, its organic-mechanical hybrid form virtually undetectable to Earth's primitive scanning technology, and carefully positioned to avoid Federation notice. Inside its cavernous processing chamber, Commander Vrex reviewed the energy readings with predatory anticipation. Impossible, he hissed through triple-jointed mandibles. No species generates essence naturally. Essence, the Harvester's name for the energy humans produced, was the most valuable resource in the known galaxy. For millennia, the Harvesters had extracted it painfully from sentient beings, a process that inevitably resulted in the subject's death. Now they had discovered an entire planet of creatures that seemingly produced it at will. Prepare invasion protocols, Vrex ordered. We will take this world and its inhabitants. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Tom and Anna had expanded their research group to include 5 other teachers, a mathematician, a chemist, a historian, a physical education instructor, and a music teacher. Each brought unique perspectives to understanding the energy phenomenon they now called emotional resonance. It's strongest when emotions are authentic, reported Lisa, the music teacher, after leading the group through experiments involving different musical stimuli. Manufactured or forced emotions produce minimal energy, and it responds to collective emotions, added Marcus, the history teacher. When we all focus on the same feeling, the total output is greater than the sum of our individual contributions. They had converted Anna's garage into a makeshift laboratory, carefully documenting their findings while keeping the discovery secret. But maintaining secrecy was becoming increasingly difficult as their abilities developed. Tom could now power his entire house during practice sessions. Anna had discovered she could accelerate plant growth by directing her energy with feelings of nurturing. Lisa found she could produce harmonious sounds directly from her energy field, bypassing instruments entirely. We need to consider going public, Marcus argued during a tense group meeting. This could solve the global energy crisis, end dependency on fossil fuels, or create a new arms race, countered Anna. Imagine governments weaponizing this, forcing people to generate energy through fear or pain. In orbit, the Federation observation vessel detected the approaching harvester ship before Earth's defenders had any inkling of danger. Harvesters, Mira hissed, her reptilian features contorting with disgust. They must have detected the humans' energy signatures. Commander Dax faced an impossible decision. Federation protocol explicitly prohibited interference with developing civilizations. Earth had not yet achieved faster-than-light travel, the traditional benchmark for first contact. But if the harvesters attacked, how many ships? He asked tersely. Just one, Lauren replied, but it's a world killer class, designed for full planetary harvesting. Jack stepped forward, his expression urgent. Commander, we can't let this happen. Not only would it mean the loss of billions of lives, but it would also eliminate the only known species that naturally produces this energy. Dax knew the human was right, but options were limited. Their scientific vessel was no match for a harvester world killer, and calling for Federation reinforcements would take days. There's only one choice, he said grimly. We must warn the humans and help them access their full potential. It's their only chance of survival. On Earth, Tom was awakened in the middle of the night by a blinding light in his bedroom. When his vision cleared, he found himself face to face with Commander Dax and Jack. What the? Tom began, scrambling backward. There's no time, Jack interrupted. You're in danger. All of humanity is in danger. Over the next hour, Dax and Jack explained everything. The Federation's observation, the true nature of human energy production, and the imminent harvester threat. Tom listened with growing horror and a strange sense of déjà vu, fragments of his wiped memories resurfacing. Why should I trust you? Tom demanded when they finished. Because we're breaking every rule we have to warn you, Jack replied simply. And because deep down, you remember us. Tom did remember, not explicitly, but in the certainty that their story was true. How long do we have? 36 hours, Dax said. Maybe less. And what exactly are we supposed to do against an alien invasion? Tom asked incredulously. Dax's crystalline eyes fixed on him intently. You're going to teach humanity to weaponize hope. 24 hours before the harvester's estimated arrival, Tom's group had expanded to include 50 people, friends, family members, and trusted colleagues. They gathered in the high school gymnasium, which had been hastily converted into a training center with the Federation's cloaking technology, hiding their activities from outside observation. This is insane, whispered Robert, the school's skeptical principal, watching as Anna demonstrated how to manifest visible energy. Completely insane. And yet, you just saw her power that light bulb with nothing but her emotions, Tom replied calmly. The question isn't whether this is real, Robert. It's whether we can scale it up enough to matter. Across the gymnasium, Federation officers worked with small groups, teaching them to focus and direct their energy. Progress was uneven. Some, like Lisa the music teacher, took to it naturally, already creating stable fields that could affect physical objects. Others struggled to produce even the faintest glow. The emotional connection is key, Jack explained to a frustrated group. You can't fake it. You can't force it. You have to find something that genuinely moves you. Joy, love, determination, even righteous anger. Commander Dax monitored their progress with growing concern. It's not enough, he confided to Lauren. Even if every human on the planet awakened to this ability overnight, they lack the training to coordinate a defense. Then perhaps we should focus on evacuation, Lauren suggested. We could save a small population sample and abandon billions to the harvesters, Jack interrupted, overhearing their conversation. No, there's another option. He explained his plan quickly. The Federation ship couldn't defeat the harvester vessel in direct combat, but it could act as a conductor, a focal point to gather and amplify the humans' energy if they could generate enough of it. It's completely theoretical, Dax objected. We have no evidence this would work. We have no evidence it wouldn't, Jack countered. And we're out of alternatives. As night fell, Tom addressed the assembled group, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of their newly awakened abilities. Tomorrow, we face something beyond our worst nightmares, he began. But we also face it with something beyond our wildest dreams, the discovery of what humanity truly is, what we've always been without knowing it. He paused, looking at the diverse group before him. Teachers, students, parents, community members, ordinary people confronting an extraordinary threat. The Federation tells us we're unique in the galaxy, he continued, that our emotions create energy in ways that defy their science, that we've been doing it unconsciously throughout our history. Tomorrow, we do it consciously, together. Anna stepped forward. We've been experimenting with collective resonance. When we align our emotional focus, our output multiplies exponentially. We need to find a single, powerful, authentic emotion that everyone can channel simultaneously. Fear won't work, Lisa added. It creates energy, but it's chaotic, unstable. Neither will anger, said Marcus. Too volatile. Then what? Someone called out. Tom looked around the room, at the community that had come together in crisis, and suddenly understood. Connection, he said simply. The feeling of standing together, of protecting those we love. Not just fear of what's coming, but determination to face it united. Throughout the night, they practiced, 50 humans learning to synchronize their emotional resonance into a single powerful wave. The Federation sensors recorded energy readings unlike anything they'd ever detected. By dawn, the harvester ship had entered Earth's orbit, massive and ominous against the backdrop of space. On its command deck, Commander Vrex prepared the initial harvesting protocols, unaware that the planet below had been warned or that its inhabitants were anything but helpless prey. In the high school gymnasium, Tom looked at the tired but determined faces around him. It's time, he said quietly. The Federation ship positioned itself in the stratosphere, directly between the harvester vessel and the small town in Colorado. Its systems had been reconfigured to Jack's specifications, transforming the scientific vessel into something it was never designed to be, a conduit for human emotional energy. Energy shields failing, reported Mira as the harvester fired its first salvo. Rerouting power. Commander Dax opened the communication channel to the humans below. Now, Tom. Now, the energy beam that shot from Earth's surface toward the Federation ship was visible to the naked eye, a brilliant blue-white column of pure power defying every known law of physics. As it struck the Federation vessel, the ship's modified systems captured, amplified, and redirected the energy toward the looming harvester. On the harvester's command deck, Commander Vrex's compound eyes widened in disbelief. Impossible, he hissed. This planet is pre-contact. They have no defensive capabilities. His words died as the concentrated beam of human emotional energy struck his ship. Alarms blared as systems overloaded. The very essence the harvesters had spent millennia painfully extracting from other species was now being weaponized against them in quantities that made their harvesting efforts seem pitiful by comparison. Divert power to shields. Vrex ordered frantically. Prepare jump drives. But the assault continued, relentless and growing stronger by the second. On Earth, what had begun with 50 humans in a gymnasium was spreading. As the visible energy beam pierced the sky, thousands of onlookers felt something awaken within them. An echo, a resonance, a sudden awareness of power they'd always possessed. They joined unconsciously at first, then with growing intention, adding their emotional energy to the defense of their world. The energy beam widened, brightened, strengthened. Tom stood at the center of the original group, his entire body luminous with blue-white energy. Beside him, Anna anchored the others, creating a stable foundation for their combined power. They had moved beyond fear into something else, a state of perfect unity and purpose that none of them had ever experienced. In orbit, the Federation ship's systems strained to channel the escalating energy. The power curve is increasing exponentially, Lauren reported in awe. They're not just maintaining output, they're amplifying it. More humans are joining the network. Commander Dax watched as the harvester vessel's shields failed catastrophically under the assault. "It's working," he whispered. On the planet's surface, news of the mysterious energy beam spread rapidly. Social media exploded with images of the phenomenon visible in the sky. And as people watched, something extraordinary happened. They felt it. The connection, the resonance, the power. Across Colorado, then across North America, then around the world, humans began to channel their emotional energy upward toward the distant battle in orbit. Most had no idea what they were doing or why, only that they felt compelled to participate in something monumental. The harvester ship began to break apart under the sustained assault, massive sections tearing away from the main body. Commander Vrex ordered an emergency jump to escape, but the jump drives had been the first systems to fail under the human energy onslaught. "This cannot be happening," he raged as his command deck crumbled around him. "They are primitives. They are prey." In that final moment, Vrex finally understood the truth that would soon reshape the galaxy's understanding of humanity. They had never been prey at all. The harvester ship's destruction lit up Earth's sky like a second sun. In the gymnasium, Tom and the original group collapsed in exhaustion, their unprecedented energy output leaving them drained but triumphant. "We did it," Anna whispered, her voice hoarse. "We actually did it." Outside, people were gathering, drawn by the awakening they'd experienced, the sudden knowledge that they were more than they'd believed themselves to be, that humanity itself was more. In orbit, Commander Dax faced a new dilemma. Federation protocols for pre-contact civilizations were clear, yet those protocols had never anticipated a species like humanity.